This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by former two-time world champion Joe Cordina over Zoom. Joe, good to see you. How are you? How's life treating you?
I'm good, and thank you. For me, it's same old shit, different day. Family life, gym, making sure I'm training hard all the time. So yeah, nothing changes for me, man.
Family life, gym, training hard all the time, and now pedicures as well, Joe.
Oh yeah,
You can't
I
let
was,
that one go.
about 3 weeks ago, my missus said out of the blue, she went, "Do you fancy a pedicure?" And I've had one before. Me and Bout went in Abu Dhabi and had one, and I thought, do you know what? Fuck yeah, I will have one. So I went with her a couple of weeks back. And I couldn't remember when we had it last time how long it took. Like every time she goes, it takes about an hour and whatever. So I went with her, and this was taking like an hour and a half. Fucking, I was thinking, I said, no wonder you fucking come here. They got massaging seats, offer you tea, coffee, soft drinks, and everyone's having a chit chat. I'm thinking lovely. So now I'm going every time. Every time she goes, I'm going. Or
Well,
if I miss her, then I'll go on my own.
I have to point out to you, Joe, obviously as a boxer, you're not due to have like pretty feet, basically.
No, I'm not. I haven't. I'm sure they charge me double to do mine anyway. Okay.
Um, Joe, on to the boxing talk in terms of like an update with yourself. Life as a free agent, how are you finding it?
Um, do you know what? It's a bit shit because you don't know where you are. Do you get me? If I was a free agent as a world champion still, then it'd be a bit different. I'm gonna be because that's what happens when there's money involved. Everyone fucking wants a piece of the pie. Do you get me? And soon as the ship have started to sink, everyone jumps off. So yeah, it is what it is. But I'll be back and I'll be a world champion again, no doubt. Um, but yeah, I'm in the middle of trying to sort something at the moment. My manager Spencer Brown, he was I was chatting to him yesterday on the phone, and he mentioned a few things to me. So yeah, I'm in the gym making sure I'll be ready. So yeah.
So I don't know how much you can divulge, but what's the ideal play for yourself? Do you want to try and get snapped up by another promoter? Are you looking at obviously Turkey Al Sheikh and Saudi? What type of route are you looking at?
To be honest, it's just get training. And just make sure I'm active as much as I can be. Do you understand? It'll be a year in May by the time May comes. It'll be a year until I box. So I need to get out. I need to whether I have a run out or jump back in. But I'm one of these fighters that I believe if um if he's a good fighter, I'm going to perform. Sorry. Okay, Sala. Sorry, what was you saying, Ant?
Yeah, we just talking about the return plans.
Oh yeah. So the plan is to have a like a warm up. But like I said, the better the fighter, better I'm going to perform. So for me, if I have someone that's I don't believe that's anywhere near my level, I might drop down to his level. So that's what I don't really want to do, get complacent. So for me, I want a good level up, a bit of good level opposition, um, get the ring rust off, and then straight back in to some big fights.
So is the hope then maybe say summertime you have that run out and then maybe say
I'm looking
September,
end of May.
October?
I'm looking end of May, early June, um, and then pick up towards yeah autumn to winter.
On that note, then, in terms of the world scene at lightweight, it's quite an open division. There's nobody dominating. Obviously, you've had Keyshawn Davis recently picked up the title against Berinchyk. That performance, in fact, boy, just get your thoughts on it, Joe, because a lot of people obviously disappointed by Berinchyk. When you look at kind of what Keyshawn had to do in a relatively straightforward fight for him, does it frustrate you that maybe you weren't able to position yourself to get that opportunity yourself?
Yeah, well, it was talked. It was put across to me. I'll be honest. It was put across to me, and I said, "Yeah, no problem. Just give me that fight." Um, but yeah, they obviously with different promoters, isn't they? So it's going to be it was going to be hard to sort of get that across the line when I'm sure Keyshawn and Berinchyk are the same promoter.
Yeah. Well, I
They want
believe
to keep
actually,
it.
I think Berinchyk work. I believe he's Queensbury.
He's Queensbury, is he?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so if it is, then yeah, there would have been that would have been. I suppose with Spencer having a good relationship with all the UK promoters, it could have been a um, yeah, it's pretty straightforward as long as everyone was happy with what was going on. But yeah, I didn't get that because obviously we were waiting sort of on Shakur's um, what was happening with Shakur, and then obviously um, couldn't find his bottle, and then he went decided to go with someone else. You get me fighting what was his name, Schofield. Oh yeah,
I do. I'm just checking. Yeah, I do believe Berinchyk is he's a Queensbury fighter. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure that could have been done then.
So on that note, kind of, like, was everything on your side agreed terms wise with him?
Um, with
Berinchyk,
no. It was just put across to me.
okay.
So yeah, there was nothing like that. Um, yeah, we there was no negotiations or anything. So yeah, I ain't gonna complain. Um, but yeah, would have been nice to get that shot, and obviously Keyshawn made quite like work of him. Um, but I believe Berinchyk was he wasn't what can I say? He's a tough fighter, but stylistically and skill wise, he's nowhere near Keyshawn's level. He's tough. But when he was in the amateurs, he was the kiddie, one of the kiddies. He was like there was a handful of fighters that every tournament you go to, they're picking up gold medals or they're having a medal wherever they go, and he was one of them. But style wise, that suited what the point scoring system was back then. He was tight guard, cover up, fling loads of shots, and and yeah, he kept winning. But as a pro, he's done very well. He won a world title, so that's what we all set out to do. He's done that, and yeah, but I can't see him winning another world title.
Let's just obviously go into that Shakur Stevenson talk.
Yeah.
What happened around the point of when Schofield pulled out, Padley getting the call? Was you in the frame at all? Was you mentioned? What? Yeah.
Um. So I had a phone call before we got out, and I said they would just get me that fight. But obviously, for me to step in last minute, it's gonna have to be a good dojo. Get me because I wasn't sparring or anything like that because I don't spar unless I'm in a fight camp or whatever. I just if I do, it'll be something light. Um, so yeah, I was like, okay, no problem. But then when I spoke to Spencer and I said, was my name mentioned? He was like, Eddie didn't mention you at one bit. So I know, yeah, I probably it probably wouldn't have got a mention.
I saw over social media you called him a MAGA, Shakur, that is,
Yeah.
when you saw the options which were being touted.
Mm.
As you said in this interview, you felt like he bottled it by maybe not considering yourself.
Yeah.
Do you think that's on his behalf? He should have taken the kind of the reins of it and said, no, let's get the Cordina fight back on.
Yeah, that's what he should have done. Sorry, yeah, no problem. That's what he should have done. But unfortunately, there's no dinos, baby. Um, that's what he should have done, but he never. So listen, it's like a broken record because I every time I get asked the question, I got to keep going over it. It's like he called me out when I won my first world title. I accepted. I said, let me have my couple of weeks. I said, we'll sort it out. But then when I started back training and getting new, I see him on Twitter trying to make fights with other fighters. No problem, but they ain't got world titles. I said, what's happening? Are we gonna unify or what's going on? So then he didn't. I can't even remember what he's saying. Obviously, he just talked a lot of bollocks on Twitter. Anyway, um, and so does everyone else. That's why I don't even go on it. But then obviously I've come to lightweight. I ain't got a world title, but then our fight, that fight was put to me. I accepted, no problem. He was getting a lot of money. I was getting a lot of money. We were getting a fight on, and then he breaks his hand. No problem. The sensible thing to do is just reschedule that fight. So when he was and that's what I was told. When he's okay, then we'll reschedule it. And then obviously that never happened when he was able to punch. He's making fights with Schofield and whatever. And yeah, but what can you do? You can't force someone to jump in a ring and fight. And like, don't get me wrong, he's talented. And I'm a fan. I'm a boxing fan. But at the same time, he called me out once, and then I accepted. Then we're fighting again. But then he decided to fight someone else back then. Then we lined up the fight. The fight was done. So why are you going to go back into negotiations with someone when there's all the fights already done, the purse is already done? Why? So the yeah, there's a pattern there. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
apart from there's only an outsider looking in, the first initial thought is he's a shithouse. But yeah, it is what it is.
I asked Shakur about if he explored a fight with yourself again. The last time I spoke to him about it was when the Schofield fight got announced at the announcement press conference. And
Yeah,
I pulled it up earlier just to get the quotes from it, and he said, "He has nothing against you. He always thought you two would fight at some point, but truthfully, he's into the fights the fans want to see, and the fans didn't want to see you two fight. When they saw the Schofield fight get announced, they were more excited for it. Just because it doesn't happen right now, though, doesn't mean it's not going to happen. In the
yeah,
future, I do think it will happen." These were his comments at the time when the Schofield fight was announced.
yeah. Well, for instance, yeah, that's for American fans, but the fight wasn't in America. Do you understand?
Yep.
So that's irrelevant. American fans, yeah, they want to watch it, no problem, because they know Schofield. But I'm known over there as well. A lot more people are going to know Schofield over there rather than myself. But no one really knows Schofield over here, over the UK. And believe it or not, boxing is in the UK at the minute. So like there's a balance. Like I mentioned Schofield, so they were like, "Who the fuck is Schofield?" So like, and that's no disrespect to him because he's big in America. He's big in America, but he's like, yeah, it's I don't know. It's one of them things. So like, you okay, no problem, but you'd rather fight a load of plums. I can't even call them plum. I can't even call them plums because some of them are actually good fighters that actually caught up for. So, but they haven't won world titles. They haven't won any sort of titles. But it's okay when you're fighting them, but not from a world champion. No one wants to see them fights, and not many people want to watch him fight. He's technician to a boxing purist, amazing to watch. To a boxing fan, no one wants to watch him. Everyone's a kid. I was watching his fight in the in the shisha bar that where I go with it. It's like a sports bar. I was watching it. No one was watching it. Everyone was talking, and that's a freeweight world champion. But yeah, a
Yeah.
freeweight world champion. So like, don't tell me about no one wants to watch it. No one wants to watch you fight. I'm always in an exciting fight, win, lose or draw. So it is what it is.
I imagine half of you or part of you's fed up of talking about Shakur. The other part of you is like, you're more open to it because it's still obviously a fight you want. So just a final one on it all, Joe. Are you still confident at some point you two do cross paths?
Yeah, obviously I got to keep winning. And that's obviously that's if he don't go up to super light because I seen him having back and forth with no problem boy. I seen him going back and forth with Teofimo Lopez. So yeah, as long as he don't go up a weight, then yeah, it should all be fine. Yeah, it should all be fine. I reckon it could happen.
So a couple of other fights I'm gonna propose to you, Joe, and I don't know if they'll even be on your radar. They were just things which again come up to on my mind. Josh Padley, would that
Yeah,
be a fight you'd be interested in if it was ever proposed? Because although again you've boxed at a higher level than what Josh has,
yeah,
his stock has gone through the roof on the back of a Shakur fight. He came in competitive, tried his best to win, fell short as most expected. But is it a fight which would have any interest to you?
yeah. Well, like I said, I messaged him actually, and I said, "Show you had a lot of heart, and it shows you had a big pair of balls. 4 days notice, jump in with a freeweight world champion." So yeah, hats off to him. But yeah, it's definitely a fight that I'd be interested in because obviously he's on everyone's lips at the minute. Do you get me? So yeah, it's definitely something. Yeah, I'd be interested in, but me beating him is not going to get me any closer to a world title. Um, so yeah, it's one of them. It's like a domestic, it'd be yeah, but getting me close to a world title is probably not going to be any benefit to me for that. But definitely be interested in maybe in the next 10, 12 months.
Would you say if maybe let's say you had your comeback and then fought a Padley before going onto the world scene, would that
Yeah,
maybe align for you?
yeah, 100%, 100%. And that yeah, that'd be some like yeah, something sort like I'd be looking at. Do you get me? Something I'll be looking at. So yeah, it's yeah, he's a good fighter as well. Like, cause I watched him fight
Chamberlain.
Chamberlain. I was there. So yeah, he's a good fighter, and he's managed by a pal of mine, Tom Stoker. So yeah, I'm sure that could be made quite easy.
Do you think it's also again kind of linking to Shakur? It's a chance for you to be able to better his performance, but also knowing Josh would have had a full camp. Granted, you'd have had a full camp for him as well, but you can turn around to then say to Shakur, he went 10 rounds with you, didn't have to
Yeah,
do that with me.
yeah. It don't always work like that because styles make fights.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, with him, yeah, you're never going to be able to compare it fully because he had 4 days' notice. He was on the building site on a Tuesday and was in Saudi fighting on a Saturday. So yeah, it's yeah, you could say if like say for instance I got him out in a few rounds, then you're gonna go, yeah, well I can go, yeah, well he had a full camp and I done that. But yeah, it's not something really I look into.
Another random one I'm going to throw at you, Joe, is Hadia Herrera. He's been going a little bit all over the place on social media recently with his own call outs for Shakur. Have you paid much attention to him in the pro ranks in his most recent fight?
No, I only. It's okay, baby. I got it. I only watched him the other day. Talented fighter, but I think for the first few rounds he underestimated the geezer, the Mexican. Um, so so yeah, I don't believe that's the best Herrera, but he's definitely solid. Like, all right, 2 seconds, mate. Sorry,
Mate,
Andrew.
you take care of that. He's okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't believe that was the the best Javier we've seen, but yeah, he's definitely a good fighter. You can see that. But I think he was come out a bit too lackadaisy, and he was in first gear, and then it was hard for him to get out of it. But um, yeah, it's hard to really to gauge how good he is from that performance.
You could see kind of him. He was very easy to hit in that fight. Joe McNally was very unhappy with
Yeah.
that side of his performance and showing. Um, how far off did again? I know you're saying it's hard to go off that one performance, but Where would you say he's currently sitting in those lightweight rankings?
Um, it's hard to say. Technically, he's a Cuban, so you would technically say, yeah, he's he's there or fringe, but then we won't know until he gets there. Do you get me? If you chuck him in a deep end, he could be a world champion at that weight. So um, yeah, who knows? He's definitely his dancing is pony though, but he's exciting, isn't he? Like that's what you like to see is um for an entertainer. You've seen Nassim Mohammed doing it all, and everyone loved that. So some people are gonna love him, some people are gonna hate him, and yeah, as long as he keeps getting paid, I suppose that is that's all he wants. But I like him. I'll be honest.
Just one more I'm going to throw at you is Lamont Roach Jr. Obviously, his stock's gone through the roof on
Yeah,
the back of that tank performance. And I recall when both of you were at Super Feather. I know he still holds his
yeah,
WBA Super Feather title, but at that time you was talking about potentially fighting each other up at lightweight again, maybe without that title behind you. But do you feel like, again, I know he's tied up or seemingly tied up with talks over a potential tank rematch, but something you'd like to revisit at some point now?
yeah, for sure, for sure. Any top name in the lightweight division, that's all I want. Like I've done everything there is to do in boxing, win world titles, win like domestic titles, all that sort of stuff. I want to be like all the fighters that I grew up watching, your Ricky Hattons, your Joe Calzaghes, your Carl Froches, your Nassim Hamids, and then like before me, Nigel-Benn, Eubank. All their fights, main fights, um, that people remember are with Americans or top big names. They're like top level fighters, so big names. That's what I want. I want one of them big names that I want to be in with, like whether it's an American big name or from wherever. I just want to be involved in one of them fights. I said when I boxed Rakimov before, and I said I won um, a Gatti Ward, and I had one with Rakimov, which was back and forth constant. So I only won one. That's done. I've had it. Then I've had a knockout of the year with Ogawa, and that was for my two winning two world titles. So now I want to tick off a list is fighting one of them big names. So yeah, Lamont Roach, Shakur Stevenson, any of the other world champions at lightweight, I'm happy to jump in with.
How impressed were you by Roach's performance against Tank, and how much better of a version do you think we saw there than what we've seen previously in his career?
I I don't know if you can say it's better, but he had everything to let it see. Like he done everything right, and I thought he won. I'll be honest, I thought he won, and especially with that little knee taking the knee, yeah, he won a fight for me. But yeah, Lamont Roach he looked very good. His counters were spot on, and I don't think Tank expected it to him to come out like that. So yeah, it's hard to say whether he'll win the rematch, but yeah, he's got a very good chance. He knows where he's at now, and like how can I say? I always thought Tank is the best out of the lightweight champions, but I just think he got certain parts of his game a little bit wrong on that. Um, but yeah, Lamont Roach I thought won that fight.
That's one from me, Joe, to wrap this up. Obviously, a man you know well, Conor Benn. He's training in warmer climates, getting ready for that Eubank Jr. fight. What do
Yeah.
you think happens come April 26th?
Um, it's a tough fight. I'll be honest, especially at 160. But I do believe Connor comes through. Um, I don't know whether it's my heart speaking or my head, but I'm saying nah, it's my head because I've seen what Connor can do in the gym. Um, But yeah, I hope the God Connor wins. Um, and more than anything, I'm just happy that he's able to set his family up for life now, and his kids, potentially his kids. You get me? So um, yeah, I'm sure they got a 2 fight deal, are they?
Yeah, there's a rematch clause in place.
Every match goes, they'll have another fight. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of money to be made there, and I'm just happy that he's able to secure his family.
If he's to have success, then Joe, and especially as the smaller man going up 2 weights, what's going to be key for Connor?
Well, it as a fan, I'd hate to see someone like Connor, yeah, go and do win all the money, yeah. Because he says like I don't give a shit about world titles. I just give a shit about money. No, deep down as a fighter, we give a shit about world titles, but money comes first. Money comes first because you can't live without it. But as a fan, for me to watch Connor earn all that money and not win a world title, it's like for instance Kevin Mitchell. He's probably one of the best fighters to never win a world title. So it's yeah, for me to see you've got that out of the sport, yeah, great. But apart from that fight, you need to be remembered. Your name needs to be remembered as a world champion, like your father. Because when it comes down to it, like as people remember, because he don't. I'll be honest with you, Connor don't give a shit about what anyone thinks of him anyway. So no one gives a fuck whether they remember him for winning a world title or after boxing, forgetting about him. He don't care. But just as a boxing fan myself, I know what he can do. So I believe he can win a world title. So I'd like to see him make all his money, come back down to welterweight, and win a world title at welter.
Joe, I appreciate your time. I'll leave you now to enjoy the rest of your day. Get back to your father duties.
Yeah, I know, bro. He's driving me up the
Yeah.
wall. He is.
Don't go messing up those pretty little feet now.
Nah, nah.
I look forward to hopefully an announcement soon. Thanks for speaking to me in Boxing News.
Andy, go on, bro.